dramaturgy means? Yes.
Dramaturgy is like all the background research about like the setting of the play.
Perfect. Awesome. So, dramaturgy is the study of dramatic composition and the representation of the main elements of the drama on stage. So, how do we implement it? What do we do to get this background knowledge? Anyone know? 3 things. Research, research, and more research. That's what we need to do. We need to research everything. So we need to read the script several times. You need to do background research on the time period, background research on the author, the time period of the setting as well as when it was written. If it was social commentary on something, if it was political commentary on something, what are the relationships between the characters? What are the costume designs? How does set design work? How do like, agriculture? How does everything fit into the play itself or the production itself to make it what it is? So by doing that, you need to do research. So that's online, that's reading books, that's finding primary source documents, that is photos and everything. Research, research, research. So who uses it? Directors mainly. In a house of theater people, the dramaturg is right hand to the director. They help bring the show to life, because you can't have a show set in the 1920s with an iPhone, because that would throw things off, right? Or you can't have a show set in World War I with new planes. So you can't talk about like the Black Hawk helicopters, right? That those things just don't really work out. So the directors really take hold, or good directors really take hold of what dramaturgs have to say and the research that they've done to make the show a whole. Designers also do it for, like I've said before, like you can't have someone in a World War I army costume in Afghanistan, because those things just don't work out as well, right? Another thing is actors. Actors should take the notes that the dramaturg does to then make the acting decisions that they're put onto. I can't, just to keep going back to the World War II reference, I can't go up there and just be like, hey, suck dog. Like, no, this isn't the 90s. Like, nope, World War II does not have that same lingo. Those actions, you need to be holding yourself differently. You can't, slouch enough, and you can't do things that some of us do. And so dramaturgs help round out the whole scenario of the show. So before the show gets on its feet, you have to find information. You have to find all the information that you could ever think that you found. The most minuscule detail you have to find. And then you start filtering it down to what makes sense to the realm of the show, right? If like World War II. World War II took place around the whole world, but it was happening in different fractions, right? So if the show that we're doing is, say, based in like a Nazi camp, then we can't necessarily use information about what was happening in Japan. Like, those two worlds didn't really collide enough to make an impact, right? So you just start filtering it down and making it strictly to the realm of the show. And then you start dismantling. So the actors go in, and the actors and the directors, they go into the process already thinking some stuff, but you kind of need to alter that knowledge so that they can fit into that realm and really try and dive into that realm. And so giving them enough information to alter or dismantle the pre-existing knowledge that they thought they had. So, before the show is information. During the show, you're the C team. It is, the A team would be the directors and the actors, the B team is the designers, and then you are right up there helping them along the way. You are backup in a lot of the work, in a lot of the sense. You are, whenever someone needs research to be done, then you're on it. Or you can just be like, the director's like, oh, well, what was a common word in the 1940s? And then you pull your file and you're just like, there you go, there's 5 dozen, words that you could use. Mm-hmm. You're also building a relationship with the audience, because you're looking out for the audience before the audience is there. The actors and the director, they're putting on this show to make statements, right? That's what good theater should be done, to start a conversation. So you can't necessarily have a conversation with no one there. So that conversation should be happening with the dramaturg, and because they're the eyes of the audience before the audience comes and sees the show. And other experts. So a producer would come in. Here's all the information that I have about the show. Here's the information that me and the director have gathered about the show to the producer, or to other dramaturgs, or to, there's so many people in the industry that could use this knowledge, this dramaturgical knowledge. You build those relationships with those people. After the show, hopefully, through your knowledge, you've inspired people to be active about the show. So if we're going back to my World War II scenario, the show like the Diary of Anne Frank. What the dramaturgical knowledge that you should do is to help inspire people to know more about the persecution of Jews in World War II. That's huge knowledge that people need to have, and so you can cultivate the talks with that. And so that comes with theater talks, or what we call talkbacks. So after the show, you would be being a moderator of sorts for the show. So, we'd have our actors come out, maybe still in costume, and so say if I had adult actors being, Anne Frank and her family, then you could have, 5th and 6th graders come in, or, 7th and 8th graders who have been reading the Diary of Anne Frank. They could come in and ask questions on how they felt in this character. Did they feel scared as Anne Frank? How did they handle, the news of Nazis raiding the town that they're in, or how they felt doing all this stuff, and if the actors are good and have been taking the dramaturgical notes and really implementing into their characters, then all of that knowledge can be shared with other people through the actors' works. So, and take everything seriously. Take the show is put on, yes, by the directors and directors and stuff like that, but your research, your so much time and effort has been put into the small, minute detail. So take joy in that. The talkbacks that are happening, people love going to those because they want to know more about the story, and you help bring that kind of 3D version of the stuff. So the writing assignment is you will take one of the shows that we've talked about throughout the quarter or the semester. So The Glass Menagerie, The Importance of Being Earnest, Chicago, Fences. You can take one of those titles, and you are going to write up a 2-page document about all of these things. So the title, what it means, why it means that, the copyright date, why was it written in that time, what made the author write it in that time, character names, all of the characters, what do the functions of those characters mean, what is the language in the play, how do they work with it, what are the words that you don't know, so you need to then research those words. And the playwright's intent. Again, why did they write this? What does it mean for the time period? What does it mean now in 2019 as a 11th or 12th grader, right? And then you will make a dramaturgical PowerPoint and present it as you are the dramaturg for that show. From the research presented in class. And you will have a week to do this, and you will perform or present next week. Perfect. Thank you.